I'm Christy Bogish, Strunk Bogish, and I am the current treasurer at Edgewood Swim Club. And this is Jay Zaleski.
I'm currently the vice president here. This is my third year in that role.
This is about almost 8 years for me. I started out as a secretary and then somehow got forced into being a treasurer and maintaining funds so that we could eventually save the pool. So that's where we're at today. The last administration years ago, sometime in 2016 or so, decided they were going to sell the property. They were going to get it appraised, sell it, and the old stockholders would all just take their share and move on. A lot of the stockholders then voted against it. At that time, Tammy Dormer, who's actually our current president, came to me and we were chatting about she knew that I was a member when I was a kid. You know, Matt and I, our dads, were members here and stockholders here back in the day, in the mid to late 70s and early 80s. And I was trying to help her go through lists. The next thing I know, they started selling some more stock. Next thing you know, I bought some stock and kind of got more involved. And as the old administration was going out, I think in 2017 or so, they left them with $1,200 in the checkbook, a clubhouse and a pool that needed to be majorly repaired. When it rained outside, it rained more inside of the clubhouse upstairs. Wow. We needed a roof. The very first year we took over, we kind of struggled and survived. At the end of that first year, I remember the motor went on the pool and the roof was leaking so bad, we didn't know what we were going to try to replace first. And donations came in from members that were amazing. The Butler and the Stone family was one of the ones that first stepped up to help us with the roof. We only had enough money to replace the pump. So it was like, keep the pump running or keep the clubhouse dry upstairs and not possibly ruin everything. Right. So we kind of got through that first year. We headed into wintertime, and then the years after that started fundraising, knowing that we needed to make repairs. The pool was getting worse. We were patching things. I don't know, Jay, what year did you first come in?
2019 was my first year as a member here.
Yeah. And we were sort of on the upswing of keeping things going, but then also COVID hit.
A year after I joined.
COVID hit, and that made things really interesting. The counties were closed down. We never opened that year till sometime in, I think it was mid-June, June 10th, 11th.
Because of the restrictions.
The restrictions. And then even then we had to, we weren't allowed to have too many people on the premises. Like, we had to measure our grounds. We had to have sanitation stations everywhere. We had to close down our refrigerators for the first part because they didn't want anybody using the refrigerators, like sharing anything. Family groups were supposed to stay together. It was a lot when COVID hit. Although what helped us was the Shamokin pool never opened.
There was not much to do.
And there wasn't much to do. And some people had some extra money. So we had a huge membership that year. And it really propelled us into moving forward and being able to keep going. The clubhouse got painted and things really starting to look nicer as the pool just started to keep deteriorating. Like, I also remember one day the diving board broke in half, and I had a diving board shipped to my house from Amazon. You can buy that on Amazon. Who knew? In 2023
was the start of the pool repairs.
We got a hold of.
That was when she asked me if I would be interested in
taking
part in the board here.
I was like, could you come on board?
The first meeting that I showed up, I walked in and half the pool was ripped apart, and kind of learned what we were getting into. So that was two.
We called in the contractors to take
repairs.
A look at some massive wall repair, and then decided we would go ahead and repair the whole shallow end first. We wouldn't have enough money to move on to the deep end repair, but we're going to save that for the next year, which is exactly what happened last year. I was writing checks to them as fast as checks were coming in because the deep end was so much work. Like, they literally came in and really ripped things out and had to.
It was rotted. The concrete was so bad that the first year that we had the major repairs on the shallow end, partway, maybe about halfway, through that season, I got a text message to ask how soon I could get here. And the next message was a picture of
half of the
huge
chunks
of
wall,
concrete
just fell in.
Wow.
While people were all here swimming.
Right past where the repairs were made, maybe about 2 feet into the I guess so-called bad section. Yeah. Right. The wall just fell apart and fell into the pool. Wow. And so we had to drain the pool down about 2.5 feet and do some emergency repairs mid-season somehow we managed to stay open through that.
We stayed right
drained
open
the
through
water
it.
down
Like
and
Chris
said
Harvey
no diving.
literally was here at 9:00 at night throwing in this hydraulic
cement,
concrete stuff that was like you put it in water, and he was repairing the wall. And I remember Mr. Dormer was in the water painting, and like it was insane. Like we didn't really miss a step. There's also an influx of new young families coming into the area, which, as we all know, Matt, like even out here on Stettler Drive, a lot of these houses are changing hands. Yeah. The people who built them are, either retiring, dying off, or whatever. And so a lot of new young families are moving in to these houses out here and getting memberships, which has been a huge increase in like just great families coming in. And everyone out here is just that, like just family. I think your mom told me she thinks we all joined in 76 was probably the first year.
I was 3.
So, and I was about 6 then. So that's why I'm thinking, I think she might be about right.
Born yet.
That's enough.
That's enough.
How rude. My older sister and your brother Jeff, like all their friends would line up on the bank there with their towels. They were like the cool older kids and stuff. I think the Shamokin Stingray swim team really got its start out here in those early days. I can remember going from softball practice, walking out here to swim practice. And that Stingray swim team is still going strong to this day. In that first summer when I first joined and bought stock, they sold off a bunch of new stock. The value was upped, and then that money was basically distributed to some members who were stockholders, and they took that money and left.
Okay.
And it was kind of a bummer because no one really ever, this was just one of those things people invested in. They had their years here, and it was shocking for all of us to see the amount of people who, I think there was 14 payouts that left.
Wow.
And stuff. So
did they have as a stockholder, did they have a say in things as far as a vote?
Yes, I guess they did have a vote of some sort that some people, and a lot of those people who took their payout were just, their kids were grown, they were done with the pool, and they were ready to be out, and I get that. But they valued their stock at a lot higher than what they paid in for it.
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
like from that point on, like I said, we were handed a checkbook with $1,250. And to move on from there, that's where we came. And almost $60,000 later, we still have a pool that's now 52 years old. So going on its 53rd year.
Awesome.
And also somewhere in that first year of the repairs in 2023, the pool celebrated its 50th anniversary. And we threw a huge party, which was amazing. Like even
probably the first time that we did a catered.
We did a gigantic catered event. Mrs. Verano was here from the Verano family, who is, they are the initiators, the founders of the pool, her and her husband, and with a bunch of other people. And I don't mean to miss any names, but the Veranos are just, Mrs. Verano is still alive. And she came, she's still alive today, but she also came on the 50th anniversary because it was right around her 100th birthday. And it was all, I think, because of her daughter came home one day and said to her dad, "Can't we have a pool?" And that's how the concept, I guess, for Edgewood came about. Okay. And her dad said, "Well, I guess maybe let's look into this and see." And then from there they had, the lot, the whole thing, and they just formed the board and kept moving forward, and they built a pool. Creating the concept of Edgewood Swim Club and maintaining a club for 50 plus years is amazing. Like I've had many people, what you should do? You should do this, or you should sell and I'm like, well, you know what? It's kind of been going pretty good the way it's working.
We like our club. It's everybody that comes here kind of looks out for everybody else.
Right.
Everybody watches their own kids, but everyone is also kind of keeping an eye on everybody else's kids too. And you don't have to worry about if you leave your cell phone on your towel, if somebody's going to walk away with it.
Yeah, nobody, it's just...
It's one big, good family here.
Yeah, and it's nonprofit, so it's, everything that's every penny that I've been in control of has come right back into this place.
The year that we had the big anniversary party, I think it was that day or maybe a few days before, we dug up a time capsule from over in the far corner over there that I'm looking at. I have some pictures of
that too that I'll share with you.
It was interesting because nobody, except for maybe one member, could really remember exactly where the time capsule was. So I mean, we would like dig a little bit and say, it's not there.
I think Mary Lashinsky helped us with that.
She's the one. She showed up and she said,
like,
it's right here.
Somewhere over there.
It was exactly where she pointed. She remembered everything that was in it.
Yeah, it was
and it was pretty crazy to see some of the things that stood the test of time in there, because unfortunately it took on water. So there were some things that were destroyed.
Didn't somebody have a dial telephone in there?
There was a desktop dial telephone.
Yeah. It might have been one of the phones that was here, because do you remember there was a phone here?
Yeah.
Nobody does more, though. I have to say, Mr. Dormer is the workhorse.
He's here every day
of this place, between cutting the grass or emptying the trash, and he doesn't make a dime. Wow. He's strictly a volunteer who comes here from the time his grandchildren started coming here when Tammy moved back. So like in the last 20 to 25 years, he's been very involved. I was about 21 or 22 years, I'm thinking he might be involved. The other workhorse of the fact that is Jack, who lives next door, who apparently was roped in because he lived next door. He says years and years ago they would call, hey Jack, can you run over and check the pool? Hey Jack, can you, down to the point that he is our licensed pesticide guy. Like, he's one of the few in the area actually too. Right. So he has been also working to help train Jay, because but he's here twice a day.
Yeah, we talked about Red being here all the time, but Jack is here.
Comes over twice a day, tests the water,
make sure the water's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Those who came before us and ran the club that kept it so that we could have what we have now.
Yeah.
And now here I am. I have a 6-year-old and a soon-to-be 1-year-old, and it's part of why I enjoy being not only here but being a part of the board to help maintain things the way they are, and hopefully all of us are a pretty good group that work together and keep
hopefully
things going.
Hopefully you're here watching them grow up and watch their children be here too.
Take over what we're doing now. It's part of what makes me really want to help out here, is that it's not just about us being able to come and spend time here. It's all these kids come here, and eventually it's going to be theirs.
We're at the original entrance of Edgewood Park. Let me flip this around.
Of Edgewood Swim
Club. I used to come in this way.
Yep, that used to be the original entrance, always at the top.
On Stettler Drive, that's where Mr. Softy would roll up.
Oh yeah, he'd roll up there.
The kids would you'd see them just right up that hill, like the dash,
flop,
yeah. And you remember he would put, because you'd be in your bare feet.
Oh yeah.
And he had the ice water he would just throw on the macadam.
Yeah.
And
so these old signs were made by Rob Kreischer.
Oh my goodness.
No longer with us.
Oh, okay.
So we saved these original signs that he made all these. So I made sure, and Dave Tamkis redid these for us, repainted them.
So our parents were involved in this place in the 70s and 80s and even longer. We got to be here, not after hours, it was more like before hours.
Before hours, after hours.
Sometimes after. There used to be...
There's a story about some of our older siblings being here after hours.
But the Myers has put a squash.
Marion caught them. Thank you, Marion.
Voluntary security for the club, right? Everybody had their spot, right?
Yeah.
So our spot was over by the Bullis's. Yeah. Standing here, looking at this, there was a little speaker.
So the speaker, it's still, we still kind of hang that out the window there. The radio system hasn't changed much. It literally just, we open up that window, and that's where, there used to be a regular radio speaker.
Oh yeah, I remember it was like a big,
it just blared
a single speaker and
all day long.
The soundtrack, the Grease, anything from ELO, it would just bounce off of the DeBullis' house. It was like being in an auditorium.
I still feel like when we play the radio here, you just like when you pull in, you hear the radio first. No matter what's on, you just remember you used to come in through this way through the steps, and there was a sign-in book down here.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, you had to sign in.
We still sign in.
Yep, the sign-in book was right here.
Yep.
And later in the day, it would get all smeared from everyone's.
Yeah,
you forgot to sign in.
Yeah.
Sign in.
So now the lifeguards hold on to it, but and there's at some point they renamed the memorial pool for Mr. Verano,
right?
Which I think, and Tamkis redid that sign too. I remember when the awning wasn't here, and there was just your mom. I think has some of the photos she has. It shows the picnic tables of people, and the awning wasn't on yet. I don't know when they put the awning on. I couldn't tell you.
I used to be scared that, well, first of all, let me do the...
You were scared
of the kitchen area. Oh, the pump room scared the hell out of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because it made this noise like...
When it's up and running, it is kind of like but it's still the same, pretty much the same old pump room from, Yep, same place.
There we go. I was just afraid to be in here. I mean, I'd never had a reason to be in here other than Dad would send me, go get me I don't know.
Yeah.
And then do they still keep the chairs?
Yeah, we have there's a rack for the chairs, everybody's chairs.
Look at that. Everybody got their spot for their chairs.
Keeps it up off of the ground. I mean, it's very wet out here, very swampy at times and stuff.
And this is where the card table was.
And we have this new thing. This is literally the freeze pop freezer.
Okay.
In the summertime, this thing is loaded up with freeze pops.
Okay.
And the kids just run in and grab them, and it's hysterical.
The baby pool's left. Oh, yeah. This was the sauna. Which
baby pool,
it was warm.
The temperature at the baby pool is always a little warmer.
Always a little warm. I think even as a baby, I was rarely in it, but
always a little bit warmer, definitely. And then here's the
pool.
Newly refurbished. Got a fresh coat of paint right now. Still has a couple more touch-ups to go. It'll be getting filled in about 6 days, so you
great.
can kind of see it, and it's raw.
For me, it was come out here in the morning, sometimes before it opened, because I'd be helping my dad clean up and whatnot, and I'd be out here all day.
Yeah, all day.
I didn't want to go home. The only break we'd get is, did you ever go up to the nature trail? Like, did you ever take a break and go up to the playground or something, or go up the nature trail?
I don't remember. I don't know. Every once in a while, they'd call an adult swim. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, you had to get out for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you had to get out.
Oh, it was the worst.
Kids had to get out. We were like,
come on.
Exactly.
But just the memories of being out here. Also, it was my summer, and coming home and having a snack, watching something on HBO, watching a movie.
Yep, and then just passing out for the night, and that's
sleep so well. I mean,
it's what kept us going all summer,
Well, thank you for revitalizing it. 50 years here, and you've been in business for.
This is 52 years old. The pool is. This is the 53rd summer for it, I guess.
Right.
I've been in business. My business is 35 years. So plus.
Yeah.
So
OG business owner. Shamokin here. So it's
Studio
in good hands.
207. That's it. Yes.
Yep. Studio 207.
Hard to believe, but yeah.
You've kept that salon going for that long that I think you have to be here another 32 years. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, come on. Just keep.
2 years ago, I bought a 3-year planner for this place, thinking maybe I'll exit out. I'm on the last year of that planner here, so. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This is great.
Well, thanks to all the people. Thank you to the members, because those are the people who have kept it going. So.
Sure.
I just kind of kept the funds in place and made sure that they were going to the right places. So, that's all.
Nice.
See you later.
Thank you, sis. All right. Come on out for a swim. Join the club. And thank you.